Alright, hello and welcome to Ben's OP Game Show, recorded live at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Twitch.tv/GameFanatics. Probably not going to be every Friday. Probably not going to be every Friday even anymore. Also, wasn't live the last 2 weeks. Also, I'm just recording this in the afternoon on a Saturday. Who the hell knows? There's a lot of things going on. The show will definitely change and move going forward. Maybe later nights, I don't know, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, maybe who knows, maybe who cares. Maybe it won't be live. Take that, naysayers. We won't do it live. Anyway, I just wanted to do a quick little thing. It's only me, Ben, here, to talk about two games that I will never get to talk about if I don't do this. Because otherwise it's going to be Game of the Year, and then the next year is going to start, and they'll just never get discussed. Because they're not the best games of the year. This game, Dandara, which is on the screen right now, is definitely in my honorable mentions. And the other one is like so close, but I can only have so many honorable mentions when doing a top 5 games of the year. Anyway, Dandara, I played it on Xbox Game Pass. It's a lot of words. And it's one of those things where I saw its icon, and the name sounded familiar, so I started playing it. And I fell in love with it pretty damn quickly because it's so original and so unique in what it does. This was the year of metroidvania games. I must have played 10 pretty decent metroidvania games this year, which is a significant number. Actually, both of these games I'm going to talk about are metroidvania games. But Dandara immediately took me with its art. I don't know what the hell they're doing. This is from their live stream, and they're great job. Took me with its art and its unique movement mechanic, which is, like a normal Metroidvania game. Oh, I'm a 2D side scroller. Yeah, it's a 2D side scroller, but you can't move. You can just jump around on all the walls, and you see that here in how the game rotates the world and does all those weird things, and that's the only way for you to move. And it seems like it would be annoying, and it seems like it wouldn't work right, but somehow it does. It manages to work so well. I never really felt like, oh, I'm slowly moving over here, slowly moving there. It kind of has an auto aim to it where you can see the line. You can see the line where you're aiming and see where you'll get launched to. It's two different lines, and you get used to it pretty quickly, and you're zipping and zooping around, almost akin to like a 2D Spider-Man type of deal, in a sense. And this movement mechanic and the fact that you only have a melee attack really changes how this game is. It makes it so unique and fun to go through. It's filled with tons of memorable moments that I think really shine in part because of these mechanics. It becomes a bullet hell dodgy thing at certain moments, and almost a puzzle game in certain other moments where I gotta figure out how do I get there and jump around, because I can only jump so far, and I can only jump on certain walls and that are covered in salt. That's the white snowy stuff. Well, maybe we'll call it snow. Snow's more fun. But you see how fast that the player is zipping and zooping around. You get used to that. You get really good at it. You get other abilities along the way. And the cool thing about this game is some of the abilities you get, like in another game, you get this ability where, like this old technology, when you walk by it, it activates. And in other games, it would just activate to open a door. Or it would just activate, right? Whatever. You activated it. Now, it's effectively a key. You just found a key. Congratulations, right? But in Dandara, not only does it open new doorways for you to go through, it also has this added detriment, or like obstacle, I guess you should say, when you're going through certain areas where, yeah, it activates that old technology and opens the door, but also it activated this lava spout, and now you gotta dodge the lava, and that wasn't a problem before because the old technology wasn't activated. So it plays with that idea of progression in really interesting ways. I thought it's not super complicated, but it does things like that are just interesting enough, just change the gameplay enough to really stick with me to where I wanted to talk about this for like 10 minutes, not even. Another couple things it does, it's not a very long game. It probably took me 8 hours to do almost everything in the game, which was totally fine. I loved it. It was like 2 marathon sessions and 2 small cleanup sessions where I played this. So there was like 4 hours where I was sitting just playing this game, just pumping through it. It has one of my favorite things about this game that they're probably not going to show here because they're just pointing at the goddamn floor is the bosses and how it kind of plays out. Because there's maybe 3 or 4 main big air quote bosses in this game. And I don't know what it is, but one of them just came out of nowhere. I didn't even realize it was going to happen in that room because it's so exploration-y. And I'm going through here and I'm exploring that way. What's over here? Okay. And I went back to this room. I was just backtracking, right? I got to the end of this area. I got an item and there was no boss there. I just left. Like, oh, okay, I must need to get this item. And on my way back in this obvious large room where I should have realized there was a boss, it just happens. Oh shit, we're fighting. And the thing about these bosses is because of these mechanics where you're sticking to walls, they start to play with things. And this is a mini boss that's about to be shown. They play with things where a couple of these bosses take place on almost a circle. There's so many sides to this polygon. And you're dodging bullets and you're doing all these weird different things. One of the bosses is shooting, he's like floating on the side and he's shooting lasers at you. And these platforms, he's shooting platforms at you too, that you have to keep jumping to and from and also dodging his bullets and then shooting other stuff along the time. They're fantastic. I loved the bosses in this game, which is something you can't really say about a lot of Metroidvania games, where it usually will just be like, oh, that's an interesting boss. Oh, that was cool. But it's not memorable. And maybe in my mind 2 weeks ago when I played this game, I can't remember visually what the bosses are, but I remember the experience. I remember the one where it had like this weird puzzle along the side where it would do a certain attack and then you'd get kicked out of it and you had to climb back in, and then inside of it in this little circular almost room you're shooting its heart, and I was like, this is fucking cool. I didn't expect any of this and it works so well. And the reason why I really love this game does just go back to its circular motion mechanics. It changes the game, pun, right? Like because you cannot move the way you normally move, the game changes. This is not a normal Metroidvania game where you can just jump to walls. No, the only way you can move is via jumping around walls, and it plays with that idea and it does something with it, and there's so few times where you can play a game and say that it's movement mechanics, the very way that you interact with the world is 100% different than any other game. You know, this isn't a 2D side scroller because you're not moving. You're jumping from walls. Like, that's not the thing. You're not flying around and shooting. You are stationary and shooting stuff, and it's a phenomenal game. I think definitely play it. If you like Metroidvania games, you have no reason not to play this game. Really, 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 really enjoyed it. And it's free on Game Pass. And I'm so glad I just randomly happened to be scrolling through the Game Pass list and downloading 700,000 things. It's funny, I was downloading a bunch of, like, oh, I'm going to download Below, I'm going to download Mutant Year Zero, and I'm going to download all the Halo games. I never played Halo 5. I'm going to download all these games. Forza, it's on Game Pass. I'm going to download all these things. And the one game I stuck with was this one. This was the game. It's because it's really damn good. Really damn good. All right, let me click over. Forgot to do this. I don't do shows anymore. And so the other game I wanted to talk about is Timespinner. And I have to loop this video because I didn't want to take anyone's video, so I just took their trailer. And their trailer's like a minute. Because heaven forbid, you as a game developer just record 20 minutes of gameplay. No, please make a trailer. Anyway, it's another Metroidvania game. This one is very Symphony of the Night, Aria of Sorrow, that era of Castlevania games. You can see it here. It has some very unique hooks involved with this, where it's time travel, and the plot is pretty damn cool and interesting in that time travel-y way. It doesn't get too deep into it. It's not Primer or whatever over here. But the main way that time focuses in this game is you can stop time. Oh, basically at any time you could stop time, and you have a limited resource with it. And like there, you use it for bosses to get around things, to avoid attacks, to really manipulate it and use it to your advantage. And that makes it a unique thing. But then it also has these 2 orbs that you can equip 2 different weapons to these orbs. and they do various different things where it's like shoot wind, or it's an axe, or it's a fire blast. You see that in sexual themes. Did I miss that part? Maybe I just fell asleep. Uh, it it you can mix these abilities and they all level up independently, and it's not 100 abilities or whatever like Aria of Sorrow or anything like that, but it's enough, and you keep getting them, and they have different not cooldown times, but like how many times you can attack per second. Like these larger swords that have a big area are slower. Then there's other moves where you can charge a separate button that uses this kind of aura, I think it is, and that's a more powerful attack, and the aura recharges over time. You get a bunch of those also level up. Obviously, time travel. It has a past map, it has a present map, and they're the same map, but they're a different map, and you're going back and forth, and eventually you can teleport, and you get all these abilities, and you can double jump. It has everything you'd want from a metroidvania game. It adds in little side quests, which are just fun time wasters, I think. It does kind of, I get lost in this game a little more than I would expect. It kind of has a bad tendency of being like, hey, go over here. I'm like, I don't know why I'm going over here. Sometimes, it just happened a couple times, really. Like twice, probably. But in my brain, that was 7 hours of my life, right? When in reality, it was 10 minutes. And there's a couple moments where I got stuck, and then I realized, and I'm so happy I realized, because this happened in the game, you can freeze time. And when you freeze time, you can jump on certain projectiles and enemies and use them as like a stepping stone. So I forgot. I went over here and like, I can't get over here. Do I learn an ability? Do I fly at one point in this game? I can't jump that high. And then I realized, like this, like you just see there, oh, I freeze time while this thing's flying at me, and then I jump on it, and then I jump ahead, and then this whole other area opens up to me because I didn't realize that. And I think that's one of the big problems with it, because if you forget about that, you're gonna kind of get screwed over. But the rest of the game, the bosses are fun. The writing is unique and interesting, but not. I really like the lore with it. The cutscenes and the dialogue in that is a little, I don't know, ham-fisted is the right way to describe it, but it's a little forced sometimes. But the little lore messages you get along the way, I love. I love all that. I think the rest of it kind of suffers from being too on the nose, but not in a bad way, or like rolling my eyes or just skipping through it. I'm still reading it all, and I'm still enjoying it. But anyway, I'm at the very end of this game. I think I just have one more little area. You know, it's the storm the castle at the end of the game kind of thing. And I really want to get back to it, just play it and finish it, because it's a very, very solid Metroidvania game. Again, in a year where there have been 17,000 Metroidvania games, and I think both Dandara and Timespinner, I think both of these games are above Chasm. They're above Dead Cells, because I don't like Dead Cells. They're Guacamelee 2, I'd put them above Guacamelee 2. Like maybe closer to Guacamelee 2. Guacamelee 2 is really good, but I would say above it, at least for Dandara. But Timespinner is really good, and it has that Symphony of the Night, Castlevania feel. A lot of Metroidvanias feel more like Metroid now, right? And that's fine. I love Metroid, but not a lot of them feel like the Castlevania side of that coin. And this one really nails it. Really, really, really nails it. And I think is 100% worth your time. I think it's on Switch. I think both these games are coming to Switch. Definitely play. They're on PC. I played them on PC. I played Timespinner on PC. Loved it. Really enjoyed it. Definitely played both these games. I wanted to talk about both of them because I'm never going to get to talk to them about them. And I cannot watch this trailer any more times. I just can't. At least it is a trailer, and unlike Dandara, where they did a live stream and stood around. Fools, I say. Anyway, Timespinner. That's enough about it. Looks great. Is not amazing. It is a 8.5 out of 10. But I think if you like those games, if you want to play a Castlevania game that feels old school, but is totally new and has some fun, creative ideas, it is 100% worth your time and up your alley and down your street, or whatever other use of it. Anyway, so this show will continue at some point. I think the next episode is going to be Game of the Year, and then we'll do most anticipated for the year. No idea when that'll be. Who knows? Thanks for listening, watching the mini episode. This is I don't know, every Friday, maybe 6, maybe not 6, maybe Tuesday. No, probably not Tuesday either. Probably the weekend. I don't know. GameFanatics.com/twitch.tv/GameFanatics. Who knows what's happening? We're doing all our Game of the Year articles starting on the 1st. One Game of the Year article will go out a day, and I think we probably have like 5 or 6, not too many, this year. But very cool, and I think if you put Spider-Man on your list, you're wrong. Sorry, I'm just being a troll. You can like Spider-Man, that's fine. It's no big thing.